Hey, what's up? I'm Lucas, and today we're going to talk about this pretty neat slider, the Laing S3. So Laing may be best known for their hand-operated Steadicams and also Steadicam vest and arm combinations. They're pretty nice. I also reviewed two before. So this is the reason why I thought it would be a great idea to test their new slider, the S3 that I have in my hands here. So maybe let's just take a closer look. Actually, there's not much to see or say about the appearance of this slider, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The basic thing we can also, of course, see is the rail itself, which is 1 meter long. Then on the back of the rail, we have 3 contact points for 3/8 and 1/4 inch screws, one in the middle and one on each. And we don't only have one thread per contact point, but a few of them. So the hard piece of any slider is its slat. We have a little pink screw here to secure it in position. I don't know if I like the pink, but in the end it's a tool, so it doesn't have to be super beautiful. When we unscrew it, we can move the slat, and if we just want to pinch it into position, we can just screw it tight and then it doesn't move anymore. Right next to it, we have 2 threads for 1/4 inch screws and one additional one on the side. This is for accessories. And then we have a little water level on the side, so we can always see then that we are leveled. One thing that differs a bit from other sliders that I used is the end of the slider. So basically we have a big thread here. I think it is 3/8 inch, but I don't know for sure. And these 2 common screws, which are just screwed into the rail. And then this ships the slider with these big screws that get into this thread here. So the slider ships with 2 of these feet. It has some holes in here. These are corresponding to the common normal screws that are already inside the rail of the slider end. So the idea behind this is that these common screws fit into these holes. Basically you push them against it, so it's obviously not that solid of a construction, but then you can use the big thumb screw, screw it tight, and you have attached pretty solid feet. But you can always detach it rather easily and always leave the big thumb screw attached. This also means that I don't always have to have the feet attached, which only adds weight to my slider. Basically, I just can leave them in the back if I don't need them, or attach them real quick if I need them. So basically, if you only want to shoot from a tripod, there's no need to have feet attached, which also makes it a lot more bulky. So basically, we can just very quickly detach the feet. I think actually this is really convenient, especially for the weight of the slider. Talking about the weight, it's actually a really light slider. It's only around 1.5 kilograms without the legs attached. And even with them, it's like 300 grams more. There are other sliders that are a lot or even only a bit heavier than this one. We'll come to that in a minute. But in the end, it's really light. It's nice for traveling because of its weight. So let's take a closer look at the feet. These also come with pink screws. I don't understand the color scheme, but still they're shipping with them. We have the normal rubber headed screws, like we don't scratch a table or something when we put it on. We can reposition these. Now, when you reposition these, for example, you want to extend this screw, this gets all a bit wobbly, obviously, but then you can take this, I don't know what it's called, this piece of metal. Still, we can just now screw this thing against the leg itself, and now we have a pretty solid connection. So this is pretty nice. It's like a double screw mechanism. So let's have a look to the mechanism, how the slider travels across its rail. So basically we have these 4 wheels, which are laid horizontal. These have bearings, of course, inside of them, so it travels rather smooth. The wheels themselves are out of, I don't know what it is actually. It's some sort of plastic, maybe some sort of ceramics, I don't know. But it's not metal, which I actually like because metal tends to be very loud when traveling on a metal rail, and also make scratches into the rail, which I don't really get why we should use metal. So, and with this construction, it's actually pretty smooth. I think you can now hear it pretty well. But this is also because, of course, I have my level here directly on me. So, and a common set when you shoot something, when you shoot a short film or whatever, it's not really audible, except when you like travel really fast. but most commonly you won't travel that fast, and then it's totally fine to with the noise level. Another thing we have to talk about is the position of these wheels, because the wheels are on the outside of the rail. So basically other sliders have sometimes its wheels inside of the rail, so you can look or touch them from the outside, which is nice because it's a bit more protective against damages. Still, I don't know which these kind of damages should be. Yet if you want to make them on the inside, your rail has to be a lot bigger and therefore a bit heavier, which is not necessarily what you want. Yet, of course, a problem with wheels that are on the outside is, for example, when I shot my demonstrational videos with this, I was on a beach where there were lots and lots of stones on there. So like a stony shore or whatever it's called. And sometimes when I laid it on the ground, the slider had it on ground level with the feet attached, it just sunk a bit into the stones, and then it was really easy for me to hit the stones with the wheels, so I couldn't drive further, so I had like to get them out of the way. But still, if you're on a quick mission on the ground level on a stony shore, for example, this is not so cool with the wheels on the outside. However, if you are on a common shore, like a normal sandy beach or whatever, it's much easier to clean the sled and the wheels, or in general, to clean it when they're on the outside. So it's like always there's a pro and a contra to these things, but actually I don't mind them to be on the outside. The one thing I really dislike about the slider is its back. Actually, it's a fine back in the end, but the problem is it cannot hold the slider correctly with the pink screws attached, because it's simply too long then, just by like a few centimeters. Like you can attach one of them, but not both. It doesn't have like additional little bags for the legs inside, which is cool when you don't want to scratch it entirely while moving. And also it doesn't have any kind of shoulder strap. The good thing about this is that I was already told that they are changing the bag, so it gets bigger, that you can leave the pink screws attached to the slider, and also they will attach a shoulder strap for easier transportation. It's just that I got my slider from an old charge with the old bag and don't get these benefits. So to add a little bit of additional value to this video, I have another slider to compare this to from a company called Kamerar, which is actually a pretty decent slider. But still, even though they look pretty similar, there are a lot of differences how they have, and let's have a look at them. For example, on the Kamerar, you have like the feet design, which is pretty nice actually, because it's a nice mechanic. We have like a big screw here, we can screw this up, and then we can move the feet outside and screw it tight, and then this is tight. And this is actually pretty convenient. It looks nice and works nice, and it's very fast. However, it also adds a lot of weight because we cannot detach these feet. Another thing is that we have these big ass thumb screws up on the slider. We take the sled, we can only drive till we hit this screw. With the Laing S3, we can travel till the end of the rail, till our wheels hit the end bracket here. So basically we can travel a lot further. So the rail of the Laing is also a bit longer, so you can travel a bit further just because also of the screws. I think it's around 10 centimeters in the end. What's a bit more convenient from the Kamerar is that we have like lots of threads and many positions on the back of the slider. Actually, we don't get to the very end of the slider, only up to till we hit the feet. And we only have one thread, which is of course enough. Still, this slider is also a lot heavier. What we also have is like the metal wheels inside of the rail, so we can see it on the back a bit better. We have the wheels inside of it, and as I mentioned before, this is harder to clean, and also you can hear it. Even if I drive slow, it's pretty loud. Also, you can see the complete rail in the middle where the wheels attach is pretty much scratched. So this is of course more of a beauty issue. Still, it's not very much thought through, if you ask me. So actually I have no idea how these two sliders here compare right now in prices, but even despite that, you just have to decide what's more important to you, what's more important for your projects. For example, if you need a mechanism that gets inside, or if it's on the outside, or if it doesn't matter to you at all. So this is always a pro and contra thing, and it's just a personal opinion and preference, of course. Personally, I don't mind the mechanism, and I don't mind the mechanism in here either. What I mind is like the metal wheels. What I like is the mechanism of the feet. What I dislike is its weight. So I can see benefits in both of them, but after all, is the most important thing actually is how the slider travels. And personally, I would say the Laing is a bit not only a bit smoother, but also it travels a lot lighter. So what I actually don't like that much is to put sliders on a common normal tripod head, because I always think when you put a lot of weight on one of the sides and it just like tends to, I don't know, but it just doesn't feel right. But what I like to do is actually use some sort of a ball head adapter, which I have here from Zeroi. You can like correct up to 15 degrees, I think, in every direction, and so you can like set it into level really quick, really nicely. And yeah, this is pretty good. In case you're wondering why this is wobbling, this is just because I used the middle thing here to raise it. I wouldn't use it like this, just so you know, it's just like for demonstration purposes. So now maybe let's add a ball head here. It just screws on. I have this little Yobi head, which is rather strong. Add the camera on top of it. I actually don't like how this wobbles. I just rearranged this. So one thing I would generally not recommend is to use a single tripod if your camera is very heavy. So now I have like an old trusty 550D on this slider, and it doesn't really matter after all. But if you put like a really heavy camera here, you always have like this little bending. You can see it here maybe, you know? And this is just gravity, so you cannot do really much against this. I think it's regardless how great your tripod is, or your tripod head, how much it can lift. After all, it's always a bit of the Newton force laws, I think. Still, the rail won't bend. It's not the rail that bends, it's just the mechanism here. So this is also the reason why in my demonstrational video it's always not like it changed the level a bit. So the camera's on the left side, it's just like rotated a bit there. Then it travels here and gets a little bit down on this side. So basically you have this very fluid thing while driving that you know, get like this little C-stick move. So what you can do to prevent this when you have to use only one tripod is to add a bit of weight or push against the force. So basically when your camera's on the right side, you can try to add a bit of weight on the left side with your hand, or push up the right side. Or if you like have a companion with you, an assistant or whatever, you can also ask him or her to hold one of the ends of the slider a bit. This is not really a problem with this particular slider, it's a problem with sliders in general, so this is why I would not recommend using one tripod like I did in this demonstration. So of course this is more of a problem that occurs from physics and the real world, and is not a particular issue with the slider that we get. So this is more of a general thing. This is why I want to tell you this. So as you can see here, it doesn't need much force from my fingers to move the sled at all, and this can of course be a good thing and a bad thing. For example, when we want to move really slowly, really smooth, and for example we are in the cold outside and we are freezing, then we may be like a bit stuttering in our hand. So with these kind of sliders, with the wheel type, I will call them, you have to be much more precise with your own physical movement of your hand. So basically it's not it comes more also from you, from the operator. Personally, because I'm a bit rough, you know, with things, and I'm not that good with the fine movement. So basically, I like the other slider types more, where you just like drag it across the rail, and you have to like use a lot more force to move the sled. But still, if you train this a bit, it's totally fine to make really slow and smooth movements also with this kind of slider. It's just a thing of personal preference, obviously, and how good you are with fine stuff, because I'm not. That said, though, I don't have any issues putting my trusty Blackmagic cinema camera, which is somewhere behind me, onto the slider. So basically, as long as your head can take it, the slider itself doesn't have any issues with higher capacity load. For example, if you like want to add your Ursa camera and a monitor and an EVF and lamps and I don't know, maybe the boom operator on top, I think the slider will take it pretty nice. One thing I also want to talk about is the future upgradability, if this is a word, for this slider, because this slider will get a modem module. So basically you get a motor to get motorized slider movements, which is pretty nice, especially for time-lapse photography, as well as like a poor man's motion control system, because you can like repeat a move always and always at the same speed, which is pretty nice. I don't know yet how this will look. I think this is the reason maybe why we get these holes here to maybe attach something to it. Also, there are like these little ripples inside the rail. Maybe this is the reason, because they are needed for the motor module. Also, we have some clues on the legs, because here are also threads in there. I have no idea why they are here. But maybe it's for the motor module, I don't know. So now I'm really excited about the motor module, because I don't know yet how it will look. I actually have no idea, but I'm really looking forward to it, because I think it adds a lot of possibilities and a lot of value to such a slider and to a portfolio of things that we can do. You will definitely find the review here as soon as it arrives on my channel, and also because like you have these possibilities to maintain a move always and always the same with the same speed. I think this could be a nice thing for future VFX tutorials for certain things, which I look really forward to make. This is pretty nice, pretty neat, and yes, I'm really happy for the motor module. And I didn't even see it. I think it will be pretty cool. You hear from it when it gets here. Yet so far there is no date for this. We are at the end now of the video, so if you have any questions regarding the slider or also general things, relationship-wise or whatever, just post them in the comments. I'm happy to help. I try to help and answer as soon as possible. Yeah, I hope you liked it, because I like the slider a lot. You can check out, of course, the example video, the long one that I put on YouTube also, which should be linked in the description and in the video somewhere. I hope you have annotations activated, because they make sense usually. And yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.